Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant, your weekly live show where we talk all things accounting and bookkeeping. This is episode 105. Those numbers just keep stacking up. I love it. It is the 4th of November today. Yep, 4th of November, 24 hours until the gunpowder goes bang. If it didn't go bang last week, there was enough explosions in the world of accounting last week to make it feel like the 5th of November. Oh, look at that segue. Look at that. As always, joining me is Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you and how was your week?
Good week, yeah. I went to London again next week, and then London after that, the week after, and then I think there's 2 more trips to London, then the year's over. But yeah, no, good weekend, good week, apart from the Formula One.
Disaster.
Not the result we wanted. If you'd have told me that when we woke up on the morning and we had that amazing qualifying and everything was looking great, loved it. But yeah, the end result was basically the end of the championship, let's be honest. So that's a bit of a downer, isn't it? Like, yeah, but we'll still watch. We'll still keep there. It's Vegas next time round, so that'll be fun to
All
watch.
It takes is Max to crash out once or twice.
No, it literally is twice now, isn't it? It's 84 points. Is it 84? I made that number up. I think there may be.
Put it out there. I don't think sabotage is unsportsmanlike compared to the rest of his conduct.
Yeah, I said this to you on text, like, wash my mouth out and soap and everything else. But actually, fair play to the lad. I mean, I'm not a Max Verstappen fan at all, but that was a sensational drive. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, fair play to him. If he wins it based on that drive alone, then hats off. He's done what he needs to do. Whatever. But yeah, that was a great drive. Shall we talk to the people?
As always, we are here to be held accountable by our by our community. So let's say hello to who's in the comments. IntelliTax Accounting, make tax easier. Good morning.
Hello.
To you.
Good morning.
Good morning to Paul Whitehouse, to Mark and Batson, to Kirsty, to Dave, to Natasha. Kirsty says 1 more week until the ICB summit. We are very much aware. My suit arrives today, hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that at the end, aren't we? We've got some big plans for the ICB summit.
Yeah, I thankfully I put my suit on over the weekend to check it fits.
I best do the same then.
Long story cut short, there's a new suit arriving tomorrow. Matty got fatter. And good morning to Paul as well. Wonderful.
And I've got people in the Instagram feed. We've got Ariana there. Good morning, Ariana. Hope you are doing well. Congratulations on the launch of Bolt. I almost forgot then. And Proud Bookkeeping is there as well. So good morning to our Instagram team. As always, StreamYard has let us down and won't actually let us show your faces like we have with Paul here. But yeah, that's go and have a go at Meta for us. That'd be great.
Yeah. Right. I mean, what a week.
Yeah.
We thought the whole major thing was going to be on Wednesday, right? And
yeah, what date did this land? Was it Monday?
Which land?
The news you're about to talk about, was it Monday or Tuesday?
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday it was, right. Okay. Yeah. Carry on.
So Wednesday, we've all come out of Wednesday a bit shell-shocked from our situation rooms, which I was loving seeing on LinkedIn, how everyone was in their situation rooms and planning and working together. And I said it last Monday, didn't I? I said this: we've got our team put to one side for this. We're expecting big things here, disruptive things, confusing things, and we weren't wrong. So that was it. I was done for the week. I was ready to go to bed, go home, and call it a weekend. And then Thursday morning, I get an email forwarded to me from Mr. Wainwright, informing me that Bright had acquired Inform Direct. And I mean, wow, what a bit of news. What's more impressive is the fact that accountants and bookkeepers, who are normally all very different points of view on things and very different directions on things,
we're good at finding our team, aren't we? We're good at finding our team.
They've all grouped together, they've rallied together and anonymously agreed this was a terrible thing to happen. It's scary. Like, comments on Accounting Web, comments in social media groups on Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff. No one's gone, this is great news. every single person's gone, independent software going to be ruined. Prices will go up, except like we don't know what's going to happen, but it has been poorly received. Now, when you buy a business, well, you have to do due diligence on that business that you're buying, you know, financials, legals, commercial, etc. I do wonder if Informed Direct really did any commercial due diligence of their own of who was buying them and how their user base was going to react to this. Because it's not been positive from what I'm seeing on general social media groups and stuff. So yeah, I mean, Aaron, your thoughts before we go in any further into this, your thoughts on this acquisition?
So overall, I'm frustrated, annoyed a little bit because like we'd made that jump to Inform Direct. We were ready to put all of our...
I feel guilty. I made you make that jump.
Well, yeah, you've been talking about it for a long time. And I kept putting it off, right? It was like one of those where I didn't want the pain of having to go for it. And well, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but there was always that conversation about, well, what if Client Engager and Inform Direct could, you know, have an integration? How would that look? And that to me was the moment where I went, that's when I'd go all on board with Inform Direct. Like if that was to ever happen, if that was a realistic target, then that solves my problem. My database is already in Client Engager. Put it over to Inform Direct. Everyone's happy. And then this news came, and it's Inform Direct's been one of those ones where I've been constantly. They're really good at keeping on top of things and reaching out to you, and their actual customer service is really, really good. So they were constantly asking me like, oh, how can we help to bring more of your client base on board? Because I was only using a very small amount of it, testing it, see how it goes, all that sort of stuff. And the second that email came through, I went back to the person who's telling me and says, just so you know, I won't be bringing any more clients onto this platform anymore. Real shame. Love the product. Goodbye. And the reason for that for me is just that if Bright buys them, or Bright has already bought them, now they've bought them, they're going to want to keep them in their ecosystem. That's their goal, right? They want you in their ecosystem. What I always say to people when they look at the Bright software is the Bright software is actually really, really, really good if you're going to use the whole ecosystem. And when they finally get to the point where that ecosystem is properly working together, then that's a really good product. But if you ever use any of their solutions and you're not using the rest of their ecosystem, to me, that's where you're losing out on the goodness of that. Like a lot of their software, there's a bit of compromise here or compromise there that you don't mind if you're going to use the rest of the ecosystem, because you know you've got that dream of you file your accounts through Bright Tax or BTC or whatever it's called now, and it'll then magically appear in your PM solution to say that it's been filed. Like that is a real tangible benefit that I think is absolutely brilliant. And I think the same will happen with this whole Inform Direct one day where, you know, it's all going to be seamless and everything. But if you don't use the whole ecosystem, I think you're always going to be a little bit hamstrung. And I feel for company, what's it called? CoSec, are they called? So for anyone who doesn't know, Bright already had a partnership with a CoSec solution. The company, I'm sure it's CoHouse or something, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. But they already had this partnership where they were using them to deliver everything out. So that partnership must be feeling a little bit unloved at this point in time. Like, why, if they were going to buy someone, why didn't they buy the partnership they'd already started integrating with and already have that connection with and everything else that goes with it? You know, Bright already have a company's confirmation statement solution filing issue. You know, there. You know, it feels like this was a knee-jerk reaction. It feels like this was more than just let's give our customers the best experience by buying the best solution out there, which typically Bright have, you know, they haven't got. Let's put it this way: they haven't gone out there and bought the best solutions in every category, right? So they've got a bit of a missed thing there, and they've gone out and they've bought this solution. And my gut feeling is, I hope I'm not true here. I hope this isn't true. My gut feeling is they've bought this not based on improving the customer experience, not based on like, you know, the true right investment for the group. They've bought this to hamper competitors going forward. That's my gut feeling. That's how it looks to me. hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully that's not the case. But based on everything we can see, it's like, what's the other reason? They had a partnership with a COSEC solution. They had their own COSEC one. Like, why go and buy Inform Direct? So, yeah, I could rant about this for a long time. What about you, Johan? You've got to be a bit careful here, right? You've had relationships with them for a long time. But what's your overall feeling?
I've used Inform Direct in my firm for 7 years. It's made company sec life extremely easy in my firm. I've really enjoyed using it. Gutted from that point of view that fantastic company for so long is now acquired by Bright, and as you say, and like Tim says in the comments here, Bright kills everything it touches. Like, any acquisition is always scary as to what is going to happen. So yeah, my team and I are nervous about what's going to happen there, and how good the product's going to stay, and how cost effective is that product going to stay. And as you mentioned earlier, like, Inform Direct and Engager were in conversations up until a couple of weeks ago about an API, and then things kind of went a bit cold, shall we say. So when this news broke on Thursday morning, it was news to us as it was to everybody else. We didn't have a heads up or anything about this. We just found out when we found out at the same time as everyone else, which put us into 6 hours of planning, discussions, meetings, phone calls, backwards and forwarding. Like, crap, what do we do? We then had a meeting that afternoon with the leadership team at Bright, who have reaffirmed that their intention is to continue with an API. Now, we need to look at that as an organization and go, is that right for us? Is it right for our user base? That what is in effect one of our biggest competitors, or if not the biggest competitor, in a roundabout way would have access to our users' data. Like, they would know, because of who's using the API, which of the Inform Direct users are Engager users. And we have to question, is that right? Is that a risk to us as an organization? Because they can be very competitive on that information. So yeah, we're still in talks. There's still an open door, still an open conversation about it all. However, we're not resting on our laurels. We've seen that news, and we've decided to react and respond. So whilst we will continue talks with Inform Direct, and if we can get an agreement that we feel protects us and our users, then we will do an API. If we don't feel we can have that agreement in place that will protect our users and our business, because ultimately we need something to stop Bright coming in 4 months' time after we've built the API and just turning it off. Look at SIF Analytics. Everyone's concern was, Xero will just turn off the API into QuickBooks. They haven't, but that was people's concern. So we'll continue those conversations to see where they lead. But in the meantime, we have now committed, and we published this on Friday to our community, that we will be building our own suite of company secretarial tools. We've outlined what they're going to be able to do already, and we will start making progress on that in the coming weeks and months. It won't be an overnight job. Inform Direct wasn't built overnight. So, I mean, we'll be built quicker than that ever was, but we'll get there. But yeah, we've looked at it, and we've just said, look, we're exposed to this risk if we don't just do this ourselves. So from 9 o'clock Thursday morning to about 5-6 o'clock Thursday night, which is when we kind of committed internally to do it all, was a long day. A long day in the office. Very emotional day, because we were all so excited about having an Inform Direct integration. And if we can get one that is right for us and our users, we will continue to do it. I don't think they'd ever agree to our terms, but who knows? we could be pleasantly surprised. It's all down to how much autonomy Inform Direct get from Bright. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a interesting 48-hour period, up to the point that we then published, 36 hours to be fair. We don't mess about, do we? So yeah, we're excited about the fact that we've been able to respond to this so quickly and come up with a new solution, and actually the value it's going to add to our users is phenomenal. So yeah, watch this space, because 2025 has just got really interesting.
Yeah, and that's one of the small benefits that come out of this, right? I'm really excited for the idea of Engager going into that space, and I think, like you said, what you can do is build something that is purely based on the practice point of view, right? Like Inform Direct, their strengths and weaknesses is that they also cater for businesses doing it direct, right? Like that's one of their strengths. So sometimes kind of we get a little bit frustrated that they're doing X, Y, Z, or whatever the reason's going to be, that we've had to kind of almost compromise our experience because it's catering for two different, right? And you can build it from day one to be like, right, let's build a solution where, as we all know as accounts practice owners, company secretarial isn't a money-making scheme for us. It is just a service we need to provide for our clients, and we need to provide it in the most cost-effective way to make it worthwhile to them, right? We're kind of gun to our head, forced to put this solution. I think if you ask most people, they probably don't want to provide the solution if we could, because it's a tricky one to keep right. But you guys could build it from the day one to say, right, how do we make it so the practice can efficiently and effectively provide this service? And that's really exciting, right? Because you got that blank slate, build it, like, go to the races on it. But I still come back to who gains from this relationship, from this acquisition, because you've already mentioned socials haven't exactly been sat there glowing references about this idea, right? So that's going to have a negative sort of thing on it. My favorite bit of social I read was some practice who had just moved from Inform Direct to the co-house Bright company secretarial solution, because it's all integrated and everything else, and they weren't having the best I don't know why, but they weren't having the best experience with Inform Direct. So for them it was like, oh, so your existing Bright users are all on, or most of them are going to be on that other solution, so they're not going to gain from this, because now they've got to migrate themselves over, different price plan. Well, everything's going to change for them, right? They're going to have to teach their staff again a new solution, all this, that, and the other, right? So the Bright users aren't benefiting from this because there was already a solution there. The people who aren't Bright aren't going to benefit from this because they're not in the Bright ecosystem. What am I missing? A group that's benefited from this acquisition? Like, because I can't think of one. Is this so they can go direct to businesses now? Is that Bright's move, that they want to open it up so that they can get rid of the accountants and just go straight to the customers now? Is that who's going to benefit from this?
Let's face it, they've not exactly got a glowing reputation for successfully integrating the products they buy into each other, have they? So it's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Tinfoil hat, if they were going direct to consumer, is this an option where they go, you can't just, you don't have to just file your confirmation statement at the consumer, but here's Bright Tax and Bright Pay and Bright everything else, and here's a suite of solutions as the end consumer, where you don't need an accountant, you've got all this wonderful solution, especially if they do bring Surf or something to the thing as well. Is that their end goal?
I mean, that would then put them in line with the attitude and a certain part of, let's face it, Xero, Sage, Free Agent, QuickBooks, they all have an eye on the direct market.
Yeah.
Like Sage announced a commitment to make sure there was a free solution for sole traders. Everyone's got that eye on that part of the market of going direct. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bright's got an eye on that part of the market. So yeah, it kind of makes sense.
I'm just trying to justify them spending all this money on what they already had. Other than the let's hamper competitors, what's the other angle? And direct to market is the only one I can think of that goes, you know what, that could work, because Inform Direct has that already, right? They go direct to consumer. They have that there.
They have that, and the only other thing I can think of is like Bright Manager obviously is going to want more than just filing confirmation statements. Like, if you look at the list of things that we published to our community last week saying this is what we're going to deliver, there's so much functionality you can do in those APIs that I always kind of question why they've only ever done CSO1 filings in Bright, and go, well, if you've updated the address of a shareholder of a company in Bright or in Engage or in whatever practice management you're using, then being able to file that to Company's House at a press of a button, that's quite cool. That would save you a lot of time.
100%.
Like, so it's stuff like that that I do wonder, like, I can see extra functionality coming into Bright Manager. What's just going to be very interesting is who delivers it first.
Yeah, how long does it take? Yeah.
Does it take you longer to buy and plug in Inform Direct to Bright Manager, or does it take you longer or is it quicker just to build it yourself in Engager? But
they've tried building it themselves, in fairness to them.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting. It'll be an interesting thing. And back to your point about Bright buying it, well, that's not just Bright, is it? That's HG Capital having another slice of the accounting pie.
And there were some interesting conversations had with me and other people and on social medias and stuff, questioning at what point does HG Capital's continued investment and acquisitions in the accounting software world start to become anti-competitive and monopolizing? Because if you look at what HG Capital have got a substantial shareholding in, it's rather a large amount of the industry, because they own Dext.
Yep.
They've got a huge chunk of Iris.
Yep.
Brights is theirs.
Yep.
Which means Inform Direct is theirs. Access Group's theirs. Like
Assets
is theirs. I mean, Access Group are on an acquisition push at the moment as well. Like, at what point do we go, actually, can someone in authority have a look at this and check if this is anti-competitiveness? Because, like, in the company secretarial space, there's not very many standalone solutions. Like, Inform Direct really did have the place to themselves.
Yeah, they did.
And now they're gone, like, independence-wise. So,
I mean, I feel sorry for Caroline here, and it's another space she's lost on the because Bright's just like, now we'll have that, and we'll just use.
We won't need that stand.
We've already spent our money on our stand, so you come on, Inform Direct. You just have a little space over here that goes like. Same with Access, right? Every time they buy someone up, there's another one that doesn't go into the.
They all funnel back up to HG Capital
because they've got Caseware as well.
Yeah,
HG. So yeah.
Like, am I being sensitive as a software co-founder and thinking that this is starting to become anti-competitiveness and the same people own pretty much everything at the moment, or is that actually the case that there is a question of competitiveness? I don't think we'd stand for it. Like, if you look at telephone companies, like, the amount of times the government steps in and says, no, you're not doing that acquisition, that makes it anti-competitive, that gives you a monopoly. At some point, someone needs to be asking those questions.
I suppose the only defendant here is the fact that, other than Access that seemed to be kind of going for cutting edge and everything else, I mean, Iris is Iris. There's nothing else I need to say there. Bright's Bright. Dex is Dex. Which one of those are the forefront and cutting edge at this point in time? Yeah, maybe that's where the defense would lie. In that,
even is that not also part of the argument that this one company's ownership of all these companies is actually hampering research and development of opportunities in the industry because they're not prepared to put the investment into the companies they own. Whereas if there was more competition between all these individual companies, there'll be this one-upmanship. There'll be this, like we always say, we love that we've got Sage, Free Agent, QuickBooks, and Xero because they keep taking chunks out of each other and going, oh, you did it this way. We're going to do this and this. That's how we get a better product.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that HG had never got into the FMS solution. Well, they've tried and failed in every one of their ventures. Like every one of their investments have tried to do. When Iris had Case, was it Caseware? No, whatever they had. I can't remember what it was called, but Iris had that
Quickfile.
No, not Quickfile. It was anyway, whatever it was called. Sure, someone in the comments will tell me what it was called. And then Bright, they must be at some point looking at the FMS, but they've got Surf, and apparently Surf isn't wonderful in terms of kind of competitiveness. And other than Ireland, I think it is where they've got dominance of it. Access are just mid-market, so they're not interested in coming down. So it's interesting, isn't it, that for such a dominant force in the space, they don't have an FMS solution. Surely FMS solution is the foundation for all of this, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly got some FMS solutions in the form of Surf. Is it ClearBooks they've got?
No, Iris built their own. I want to say Caseware, but obviously that's the audit one. It's something along those lines.
Okay, but yeah,
Twinfield. It was Twinfield.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there we are. That's how good it was.
But yeah, like, I mean, to be fair to them, that is a hugely challenging sector to get into. Like, you know, KPM's technically got an FMS solution.
Yeah.
But they're always going to be up against the big boys. Nomi's got an FMS solution, but they're always going to be up against the big boys. And the KPMs and the Nomis are going to be fighting for the scraps off the QuickBooks, Sage, Xero, Free Agent table, basically.
Well, surely HG Capital has got to be thinking about buying one of these, right? Because Dex tried to build one as well, didn't they?
Yep. And then MTD got put on pause, so that scuppered that one.
Yeah. So surely they've got to be looking to buy one. Who's up for? If you really want to go fully anti-competitive, they need an FMS solution to complete that. Who are they going to buy? They ain't buying into it. That ain't going to happen. Sage wouldn't consider it.
Sage
but are you really going to spend that £12.50 for the value of on Xero? Is it really worth £12.50? I don't know.
It's not getting.
You've got to think about value investment, right? You spend that £12.50 to acquire Xero. Are you going to get your money back? I don't know.
Yeah,
people come out and hate. I know it's more than £12.50. It's probably about £24 at this point. But yeah, that's fine.
A good year. Yeah, I do think as a whole, we need to be looking at the accounting software space and questioning its competitiveness, because the only people that are suffering due to the lack of competition is the users. It reduces innovation. It keeps the costs where they are. Like, there's no undermining each other on costs and stuff. Like,
is the defense that it's a private equity firm, not a. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a private equity firm that's buying this. It's not one entity.
Same people have significant control, though.
True, but is that where the argument falls flat? Is that where, because anyone could, like, that private equity could change overnight, right? And there could be a whole different people owning it and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I feel like there's more to this story, isn't there, than what it is. But
I mean, it'd be interesting to know what our listeners think. Like, is this space being monopolized by HG Capital and the like? Like, because even Xero making acquisitions and QuickBooks making acquisitions, it adds to the anti-competitiveness in the space. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what our listeners and viewers think of that. But in the meantime, speaking of innovation, Intuit Connect 2024 has just happened in America. Go on, Mr. Green. Tell us all about it.
Mr. Green, I'll have you know, I am very impartial when it comes to it. I would never just put it. No, I'm going to keep this brief because A, we spoke about it on QuickBooks Labs, so there's a whole deep dive there. B, there's a video out tomorrow going through all the things there. But the biggest news out of Intuit Connect was some of the updates that come in, which include a redesigned look on the bank feed. Like, if I tell you now at the moment, if you want to post a transaction, you've got to click into it, it opens up, and then you've got to change your fields and whatever. Imagine just being able to do that all on that one line. That's what's coming. So you get that innovation of
like Xero had quite a long time.
The Xero takes longer to do it. Like, we've done that video, right? And we've shown how to quick code versus what you call it. So yeah, we've got that opportunity to bring in some really subtle changes to the naming of it all as well, which we love.
We've only just started calling it transactions.
Oh, no. This is the tabs at the top. So instead of full reviewing in QuickBooks, it's posted and to post, something like that, or needs posting, something like that.
If they did market research, they could have named it right the first time.
I think it will always change, right? So that's brilliant. And then the big news was what Intuit Assist is going to actually do for us. So when? What? Straight away. Actually, they did announce they're then going to be okay. So your biggest issue at the moment is this waiting list, right? Get it? What number of users?
No one's been accepted from yet.
No, because it's not until next week. But what number would make you happy out of there? Is it 1,000 users can go on the waiting list? 10,000? What number? Tell me a number and make you happy.
No, I don't plan to use it.
No, instead of complaining about being waiting, what number to be accepted on that waiting list would make you happy? Would be a significant or enough people to make you think that actually that's going to be tested properly? Give me a number.
The problem it isn't numbers. It's not quantity, it's quality. Like, you and I have both seen some beta testers for various softwares in the past that have they're still running spreadsheets alongside it, and they're still like, found this new device. All right, what's that called? A laptop. Or just you wait until I show you an iPad where you can touch the screen.
Yeah,
so it's not the quantity that doesn't. I really don't care. It's the quality. Are they approaching, instead of doing waiting lists, are they going out and actively approaching people that they can see on social media and stuff as tech embracing, forward thinking accountants and bookkeepers, and asking them to test this?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, they've got to open up the wait list to everyone, right? Like, that's the point of a wait list, right? If you have some sort of yeah, but I feel like you're now arguing against yourself, because one minute you're telling me that you're not happy there's a waiting list, next is like, well, don't have a waiting list, let's just go and find the people yourselves. Like, there's got to be a common ground here, right?
Let us sign it up.
You can't just sign up, everyone can get in.
You're directly going to the people that are competent in this kind of thing and asking them to come up with the insight to say, look, is this going to work for you? But anyway, moving on. How many people are they going to accept onto the waiting list?
So their aim is to bring 3 million into it at some point in the next couple of weeks. That's what they announced on stage. 3 million people to come and test Intuit Assist. So that's a big enough number to know that we're going to have a insight into what's going on. And then they talked about the actual stuff that's coming through. So we've got the ability to bring in all sorts of elements. So my favorite bit about this is, forget receipt capture, thing of the past going forward. How about Intuit Assist actually bringing that data in going forward? And instead of you using it as a one area where you've got a receipt capture and bring it in from there, that it's more of a digital assistant and you can bring information in, including, and they showed this on stage, the ability to be able to bring handwritten notes into there as well. So the idea is, think your end consumer, right? They've just done a refit for someone in a house. They've written down all the information. They send that to the assistant, Intuit Assist, and then that will automatically extract your invoice details for you like that. So this is the innovation we're coming from. This is let's forget about how we've done it in the past, where it's, very archaic in terms of how we've just used to doing it, and how can we have the opportunity to let the digital assistant, which is their new term now. So going forward, it's not just into assist, it's how do we build this into being a digital assistant that you use. So you'll have many digital assistants going forward. You can have Chat GPT, you can have whatever you're going to have, but what they want is Intuit Assist to be part of that digital assistant solution going forward.
We are going to have a tech stack of digital assistants. Is that what we're saying? Or
100%. But isn't that exactly the same as you have your mobile phone now?
Yep.
And on there, you choose what apps you put on there, right? So we're all going to have different apps that are going to be shown on screen. And the idea here is that you're going to choose which digital assistants going forward is what your business needs.
So my challenge to this, right, is, and I agree, that's how it's going to end up. We're going to have different softwares doing different things. Completely agree. If we put this into people terms, right? Say I've got 5 assistants.
Yeah.
That look after all sorts of different pieces. But they're all in siloed offices. They can't communicate to each other. The only line they've got is to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's it. How effectively can they work compared to talking to each other? So like, I'm trialing Siri and Apple Intelligence.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is now powered by ChatGPT in 18.2. And the evolution is just phenomenal. It's just completely and utterly incredible. And everything I have spoken to Siri about, when I go into ChatGPT in my account, they're all conversations there.
Yeah.
That's where I'm seeing real value, is that it all knows context, it all talks to each other. Fantastic.
Okay.
Ultimately, that's where we need all of our digital assistants to get to, isn't it? Whilst maintaining security and privacy and all of that.
But isn't that where Intuit have always got the advantage, because they've already got an ecosystem? So if you think about this, is not just QuickBooks, isn't it? This is MailChimp. This is, in the US, they've got the tax solutions as well. They've also got lending solutions and everything else that goes there, right? They've got the payroll and all sorts. So
but
this
don't
is
have that ecosystem in the UK. MailChimp is one of the smaller used.
Yeah, they'll build it over time, right?
Yeah.
But the idea that, as good as Siri is, as an amazing Siri is, Siri won't be able to do bank categorization for us. Ain't going to be able to do it, right? But that's where you'll need to choose an assistant that's going to do that for you. Either it's going to be Sage Copilot, or it's going to be Jax, or whatever it's going to be, right?
So you'll still get specialists, but like, if they can, like, so ChatGPT is still my web searching, document writing. Like, Siri can't write me a templated email.
Yeah.
But I can say to Siri, and it will go, ChatGPT, can you do this? So in effect, Siri becomes my delegator.
Yeah.
Siri is my executive assistant, and the rest of the team, it delegates the work to.
Yeah.
That's an exciting model to me.
And because Intuit own the language model, there is an opportunity later down the line that they could connect to Siri, right? Siri could become opportunity. I don't know enough, but Xero not owning Jax and kind of potentially that will have.
Xero not own Jax?
Well, they're building it off of a thing, aren't they? Off a solution. So would that happen? I don't know. But at the end of the day, your analogy there's right. You're going to have different digital assistants, and you want one to control them all. So that's where you're going to want Siri at some point to be able to talk to Intuit Assist or whatever solution you're using.
Right. That's the beauty of
chat. Yeah, but ChatGPT,
shall we say? Because I walk in, I tell it to turn the lights on, I tell it to turn the lights off. Like, it tells me where my parcels are. It tells me there's someone at my door. Like, that's great. But now I need that to talk to my other assistants, and because they keep pocketing themselves.
They do. But then you're always going to have them to, because again, ChatGPT would be terrible at telling you that someone's at your door, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And ChatGPT is going to be terrible at extracting information and creating a transaction out of it, right? That's not what it's designed to do. And that's where it gets me excited, because let them cook in their own chambers. Like, we want them all to become experts in their, like you said, in those silos. We want each one of these products to become masters of that product, of that silo. and let them. And I think the idea that, you know, one of the other use cases was actually chasing debts for you. So not just going through and finding the debts in the first place, like what the biggest return on investment you should be chasing that's going to cause you issues and actually is going to stop you being able to pay your payroll down the line, because it can look at cash flow as well and all that sort of stuff. But also, how are we going to chase that for you? What tone we're going to use and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, you could jump to ChatGPT to write that email, but that's you jumping back out of it, telling the information, feeding the information. If you can do it all in one and automatically let it send, that's when the power comes in, right? And again, that silo, we need it to cook. We need it to keep building. We need it to keep doing in its own silo. And we may have other solutions out there that can replicate it to a point. But for us to benefit, we need that silo to absolutely dominate that area. And then at some point, let's have that integration where it can start talking to all the different silos, Siri or whoever's going to be the ultimate solution at the end, and let them kind of dictate it. But I do feel like we're on the verge here of something really, really, really special. We just need to let it cook at this point in time.
Yeah.
Shall we see what the people are saying? I think we've missed a few mornings as well.
Comments.
Up to Louise Moore, wasn't it? Was the last one.
Yeah, so good morning to Louise. Good morning to Suzanne. Good morning to Cheryl. Cheryl coming in 6 minutes late. Oh, dear. What disaster has befallen her? She's normally there at 8:29 reminding us to go live. Good morning to Tim. Tim says, bright kills everything it touches. No comment. Stephanie says, good morning. What have you missed? I mean, as I referred to it at the start, last week was like bonfire night for the accounting industry. One explosion after another. Clive Hand says he's really excited about Intuit Assist. Just to clarify, I'm not excited about Intuit Assist.
Are you sure? You tried to say yesterday that ChatGPT. Really last week, however, you were like, ChatGPT does it for me anyway.
The thing is, I go off what's tangible and I look at people's history for delivering features. And Intuit's history at the moment in the UK for delivering features hasn't been amazing.
Yeah, but that's UK, right? We're talking about Intuit.
It's worldwide, but
yeah, this is the proper Intuit getting involved here. This is like, I mean, the money they've spent on this, it's
out of interest because obviously Clive is in Ireland. So
the rest of the world, no chance. They're going to be a long way down.
Out of interest, right? We know because we're Apple fans that Apple are having an absolute nightmare trying to release Apple Intelligence to Europe.
Yeah.
And they've not even got a date for Europe because of the European rules. How's Intuit Assist getting on with Europe as a definition? Have they?
They'll be part of the rest of the world. It'll be all rest of the world. So
then Intuit Assist has to be in the servers in the right place for it to be viable in Ireland or France or wherever it is.
But it's part of the rest of the world product. So until it's ready to go green on the whole of the rest of the world, which is quite a big place, the rest of the world. It's got quite a few different things here. It's going to be. I mean, this is the argument where really Ireland needs its own SKU.
Definitely.
I think there's a political pushback there of like if it's worthwhile, etc. Because they tried France, they've tried South Africa, they've tried all these different places, right? At the moment, it's all bundled into the rest of the world. So fingers crossed for the likes of Clive. I know Xero's gone out there and built their own island-only focus one, haven't they? So kudos to them on that one.
And they're making traction because of it. So
of course they are. You would do, right? But then should they have an Australian product, a New Zealand product? Like, where do you start? That's the problem, isn't it? Like, doesn't matter what your budget is, it's finding what's the right investment for it. So fingers crossed for that. But Intuit Assist having to go live on the rest of the world product.
So at the moment, Intuit Assist is only in the US and
Canada and UK is the
Canada and UK, right?
I'm aware of, yeah. So
you remember like 5-6 years ago when Australia used to be seen as the leading light of technology in the accounting industry.
But again, Xero's got such a handhold over there. Like this, it's a fortress for them, right?
Yeah, well, it's like America for the QuickBooks is.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, yeah,
Interesting.
worldwide domination sounds like a great thing, but I think at the moment it's territory domination's your way forward, right? Like they've got to focus. Like everyone's got to focus. Like Engager.app could easily go and dominate the world, but at the moment its focus is on the UK, and that's where it should be, right?
Yeah. Paul Whitehouse says, I was really excited by some of the Intuit Assist features focused on bank transactions. Not only will this benefit us, but it will also help clients do it to get the things right the first time round. But how many times have we been promised that with new technology? So I really hope that it does, but I'm also very cautious of that. I've been in this industry 7+ years, and every single year there's been a different promise of this upgrade, this change, this new technology, this learning, this whatever will help improve things. And the only improvement we ever really see is minute. So yeah, I really do hope that is the case, and this AI is the technology that finally deals with this for us, because we've all been promised this from various softwares over the years, and nothing's really come to fruition with it.
I'll tell you one update which involves Intuit Assist and would really benefit us accountants was their focus on QBOA. So the accountant side of QuickBooks. So the use case they showed us is a new section called, I think they need to change the name, so it's called Books Close at the moment, which just sounds like it's going to close the books, right? So, but when you go in there, the functionality is that you can actually do all of your transactions from there, and it'll give you a holistic view of all your clients, which ones has, say, uncategorized transactions. And instead of clicking in and it takes you to that client, it clicks in, it shows you those transactions there, which you can actually amend directly from there. So the idea would be your bookkeeping team.
AI tool, though, is it? That's just
it's AI bringing that information in. So it's AI finding that for you to bring it in. And then because it's not just looking at like uncategorized, it's looking at, well, these large transactions don't have attachments to them. These ones, it's basically the VAT error checker, but on all of your clients, kind of going through from there. And the idea then is not to have to go into the individual clients to make the adjustment. You can make the adjustments directly from QBOA. So you can go in and reclassify or whatever you need to do from there, or ask the client or whatever it's going to be, and have that opportunity from there. So you think from your team point of view, they don't have to go into the individual clients. They can actually clear all bank transactions now.
From a user point, that sounds incredible. Yeah. I would challenge whether that's technically AI. Is it not just searching and filtering and displaying that information in a more convenient user interface than we have today?
But it's the AI that's telling you that like this particular transaction is something you need to be aware. This is a problem transaction, right? That's the bit where it's using a bit of magic sauce. So, and that needs to be refined, and that'll need to be kind of looked at. But the idea that my team doesn't have to go into the individual client to find that, and it's being presented to them, that's the
I think a lot of that could be delivered without AI to the rest of the world for QuickBooks. Like
potentially,
like is there functionality that's coming out here that actually we don't really need AI? We're saying it's AI. It's not really AI, that bit. This is just a new user interface. Let's deliver that. And yes, it's not going to be quite as powerful for everybody, but that UI will make like working more effectively and efficiently a lot easier.
And I think you're right there, because I think you could present the uncategorized transactions or the missing transactions, and then the AI cleverness is it's going to say, oh, based on that client you've just done, we should really change all these to BT, for example, or to telephone, or whatever it's going to be, right? That's where the AI can be kind of laid on top to help. But the idea that your team don't have to go into the individual clients and just do it all from one dashboard.
That UI, fantastic. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need AI. We needed to wait for AI for that UI to be built. Clive says Python lads, bridge between them all.
That's kind of building your own, and
Intuit rest of the world is crap.
There it is.
There we go. Thank you, Clive. Compared to UK or US, yep, definitely. Rest of the world team are pushing Intuit Assist at the recent roadshow events. Ireland has its own SKU, no developers.
And it's just the VAT side, isn't it? The Ireland SKUs, therefore.
Xero in Ireland, however, is a global product partnered with local software developer Payroller for the provision of Irish VAT reporting. It's best in QBO here.
But then that's the API being not powerful enough to deliver, because it's a US product where they don't really have that, right? They have their own version of it, and it's completely different. And the UK's VAT element was built for the UK market, and it is just a glorified add-on. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, and I think this is the problem when you go global, is you don't have the local knowledge to know where to spend your resources. If you're making decisions at your ivory tower in the US or Australia or something, I do feel like the Zero team, I mean, I don't know the Zero team in the UK, don't get me wrong, but from an outsider's point of view, I do feel that they kind of have more autonomy over what is and isn't done in the UK than perhaps Intuit give the UK team for QuickBooks.
Potentially. But I think it's because it's a more important battleground for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a battleground they can win and they can do well in. Whereas, and I also think that, I may have butchered this, but I think the New Zealand tax law, VAT law, and everything else, and their equivalent of VAT is much more similar to UK Ireland products. So, changing the fundamentals of how VAT works for Xero is probably easier. It's probably more straightforward. Whereas trying to make the equivalent of the VAT scheme over in America fit for us is just a minefield of, it's not going to work. But then it's the other way around, right? Like getting the Xero product to work for the US tax.
Yeah.
Ugh,
That's because someone just had to explain to Xero what a check was.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on, you write numbers on a bit of paper.
We have to account for it. What?
Cool. Right. Anything else from Intuit Connect before we move on?
I've got loads to talk about, but let's move on because we've got loads of content coming on that one, and just exciting times. Really excited. Can't wait to play around with it.
Brilliant. Watch this space. Watch this space. Cool. So we're 5 minutes left to go. This time next week, we won't be here, but we will.
Interesting.
So this time next week, we will be at the ICB conference, meeting up with all of our favorite bookkeepers. Aaron and I will be there from Sunday. We'll be setting up, getting the conference, getting the Ask the Bookkeeper podcast booth ready. And Aaron, you will be interviewing bookkeepers throughout the day. Yep. And hopefully, all going well, we should be able to go live from the ICB conference at 8:30 next Monday.
Yep.
But if we're not on the socials and we're not live, you know it's gone wrong.
That's a faith for you, isn't it?
But yeah, and
it should be good.
If you are at the ICB summit on Monday and you get in early and grab yourself a coffee or a cup of tea, why not come and join us as we hopefully broadcast live? We are looking at trying to do a bit of audience participation and asking you what you're looking forward to and stuff and why you're here. So the first half an hour, we'll go live at 8:30. So while you're all queuing up outside, watch us live on your phones. And then we'll do all the usual news and stuff like that. Second half an hour, we're hoping to meet and talk to people and to come live from the ICB summit. And then following that, we are at the ICB Luca Awards.
Yep.
We're not doing any recording or anything live there. We're just there. So we're just looking forward to being part of that and celebrating all the fantastic work that bookkeepers are doing in a very fancy black tie event.
Yeah, it'd be good fun. And if it goes according to plan as well, potentially for a live grid walk.
Potentially. See how early I get out of bed.
No, you will be out of bed. Don't you worry about that. And also, quick sneak peek. We have some new things to release. Some new
not
top trumps cards. There's some silvers. There's some shiners. There's very exciting, including the very coveted Ask the Accountant one. Ask the Bookkeeper. The Bookkeeping Summit and the Luca Awards one as well. So bit of sneak peek there. Get yourself over to the booth I think like Natasha's, they're not going to be around for very long. So grab yourself them early for the ones you want to add to your collection. I've got a feeling that they're going to be very sought after. So get yourself over to the thing. And as ICB's just posted in the Instagram chat, tickets are available. But do close on Thursday, the 7th of November. So www.bookkeepersummit.com. Yes, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, get yourself over to our booth, have a chat with us, go through from that. And there's another booth that people should be interested in, especially when with news that have just happened over this week. That'll help.
Engage will be there. Right? Yeah. So on the Sunday night, there's a reception for the attendees to attend if they're there the day before.
Attendees? You mean vendors?
The vendors and the attendees. Meet the vendors.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
So there'll be a drinks reception on the Sunday night. Myself and Katie will be there for that. And then on the day itself, not on the Sunday.
He did not tell me that bit.
Part-timer. Lack of commitment to the cause. But on the Monday, myself, Ash and Katie will be there for the whole event. Katie will be asking people for photos, etc. Throughout the day. So if she asks and you're happy to have your photos on our socials, then just say yes. If you don't want it, just say no. It's not an issue at all. And then the afternoon into the evening for the Aluka Awards, the whole Engager team will be there to say hello to everyone, apart from Marcus, because he's skiving in Cornwall.
Lack of commitment, like you just said. Also, just to tee this up as well, I'm very excited for this. At the Ask the Bookkeeper stand, we're having a what we're going to call it? A pod off? Not a pod off. We're going to call it a battle. We've got Stephanie representing Xero versus Kirsty representing QuickBooks on a challenge. I know, right? I mean, what's the point of Stephanie even turning up? That's what I think. You know what I mean? Like, it's just gonna be embarrassing, right?
Well, it is why you're in charge of the camera and direction. Yes. Biased. That's like asking Donald Trump to film an election debate.
So how's your reconciliation going? Let's talk about that.
Where's Jax? Let's talk about that.
And sorry, influencer off is what we're calling it. That was it. I knew we had a term for it. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be hot debate. So come and join the booth for that one as well. It's going to be good fun, isn't it? It's one of those, we love doing the other events, but I think this one we get to be a little bit more expressive maybe, and we get to do a little things a bit different on this one. So looking forward to seeing how it goes. So we're very, very excited to be there for the ICB Summit.
Brilliant. Well, I mean,
and the day after as well, we've got plenty of We Have Cool Friends being recorded. Like
whole new series of We've Got Cool Friends coming soon.
Big hitters coming. So yeah, make sure that you are subscribed and all that sort of stuff, ready to see them come along.
Well, there we go, mate. We made it 59 minutes without mentioning the B word. Well done.
Yeah.
If you're hoping for any insights on the budget, visit LinkedIn. Because that's all anyone's been talking about. No originality there whatsoever. I've literally stayed quiet because I couldn't be asked to talk about the budget. So that was good. Well done. Check us out. In fact, if you do want to listen to someone talking about the budget, then Accounting Web do a fantastic podcast. Talking all things budget and impacts on businesses and accountants and bookkeepers. So
Steph did a 15-minute biz one as well on the budget. So you've got plenty of options if you want to listen to a podcast news. Yeah. Or it'll just be me moaning anyway. So
yeah,
I do enough of that as it is.
Exactly. And on that note, it is 9:30. So thank you to everybody, as always, for joining us, for all your comments and saying hello, etc. in the comments as a community. We love to hear from you. Keeps us true. So yeah, thank you very much. And we will try and see you all next week. Live from London. That'll be looking forward to that.
No pressure on the technology there, is it?
Look, guys, if it's not live, then you're going to see a lot of content coming up over the days and weeks after that of the ICB Summit, and we'll see you 2 weeks today.
Well, the idea hopefully is that people like the 9:15 train people can have a little sneak peek of what's there. So
Yeah.
And Amy goes live at 9:20, so we've got to figure out how to how to not clash with Amy.
Surely if we're there first, then we get the bandwidth anyway.
It's how it works.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye on socials. It'll be a different event, a different pod next week, but we're really excited for it. It's going to be good fun.
Definitely. It's going to be great.
I like
Thank
James said, the budget has been covered by everyone, so spot on there, James.
Exactly. Our thoughts entirely. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We look forward to seeing those of you at the summit next week. And for everybody else, we'll see you on the socials. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.